everyone. Welcome back to another The Secret of Your Success. And it's about the secret of your success, learning from others and trying to get inspiration, empowerment, and engagement from their lives to yours. I'd like to introduce you to John Burt, a friend of mine and longtime colleague at IBM, who's now an executive life coach. John, thanks for joining the call today.
Well, thank you, Liz. I'm delighted to be with you.
And let's jump right in with the first question. What's the secret of your success?
Well, Liz, I would say it comes down to maybe three things. First is, I think it's about curiosity. For me, I'm just a very curious person. I like to know how things work. So I tend to ask a lot of questions. And I think that's a piece of advice I would probably offer to others as well. Just this willingness to learn how things work, learn how things come together. The second thing I would say, a secret of my success has been the willingness to work outside of my comfort zone. I think that many of us operate in a safe space. We don't take a lot of risks. But for me, it's all been about getting outside of my comfort zone and putting myself in situations where I'm not only maybe not feeling like I have all the answers, but I'm also willing to take some risks and maybe learn from some of the mistakes and mishaps that come along the way. And then I think the third thing that really strikes me is adaptability. I've always been called a chameleon. So when I go into different situations, I'm able to kind of very quickly figure out the environment that I'm in and what the culture's like and what the people are like and how to interact in those environments. So those are the three things that really strike me as the keys to my success.
I love that. I love also the concept of being a chameleon and figuring out what's needed and how you fit into the space wherever you are. That's great advice for anybody. Given that point, how did you get started in your career, John?
Well, surprisingly enough, I started working at a local manufacturing company when I got out of school. And I started off as a grunt. I was an expediter and a field rep. And a field rep meant that you would go out to our suppliers and you would check on the purchase orders and the work that they were doing for us. Within that same first company, I was on the team that helped to implement our first ERP2 system, which was a manufacturing software tool, which is new at the time. It's very, very common in companies today. But at the time, it was all about learning. It was fascinating to learn how these tools work. So that was really what started my career.
Amazing. ERP is how I got started in consulting. So what's had the biggest impact?
Without a doubt, the biggest impact for me has been the mentors that I've had, Liz. I've been really fortunate to have mentors, really good mentors throughout my career at different stages, who have been willing to share their experience with me, their time, show me the ropes, if you will, and really provided some great guidance for me along the way in my career. I would say the second thing in terms of just life-changing impact was when when I met you, right? I took a responsibility or an assignment in Europe. I wound up staying and working there for 10 years, working in many different cultures with folks from different cultures. And one of my projects, I remember thinking about it, had 9 individuals working on the project from 19 different countries. So it was just an amazing experience and really changed the trajectory of my career.
I think that kind of cultural awareness really changes your perspective on the world, even as you move forward, right?
Absolutely.
What lessons are your takeaways? What have you learned from all of this?
It's been a learning process throughout, but I would tell you that the couple things pop out in my mind is one is about listening to others. There's so much knowledge in the team that you have and so much experience you have in the team, and being able and willing to listen to them and to really hear what they're saying, both verbally, but also non-verbally. Some of the body language you'll get has really been helpful as a consultant and also as a coach to be able to identify when people may be hedging or when they show some passion in something that they're talking about. One of the other things was about building diverse teams. With the consulting work, I found that when I first started my first project, I wound up bringing a lot of U.S. colleagues along the way with me. But after the 9/11 happened, most of those individuals didn't want to travel any longer. And that's when I started to build a much broader, more diverse team. And actually, the team was much stronger and much more effective, bringing all those different cultures and the different experiences and being able to have those perspectives on the team. And then thirdly, I would say it's about showing appreciation to others. everybody likes to have appreciation for their work, maybe shown in different ways. Some people like the public accolades. Other people just want the private thank you very much. But just showing others the appreciation for their contribution, I think, is key.
It's such a simple thing to do, isn't it? And it makes a huge difference to people. So, what's influenced your success? What would you say if you had a turning point in your life or a moment when you felt you'd reached success? What did that feel like? What was the influence of that?
Coming back to the situation where when 9/11 happened, I was committed to the project team and I was committed to the client that I was working for, but I had to really rebuild the team. And in that instance, I think that was a turning point when I went from my comfort zone, having people I'd worked with for many years around me, to building this very diverse team of individuals with the client, and learning to try to be effective. My goal was to try to be effective for the clients, but also for the team. And in order to do that, I'd bring an entirely new skill set to bear, and become a better listener, to be, ask a lot more questions, to try to figure out, be present for people, and being vigilant for the project team.
What advice do you have for our listeners today?
I'm sure that you've heard this before, but I really think it's about, being willing to make mistakes, take risks. I know that I did not take a lot of risks early on in my career. I was pretty steady. I think when I first went into consulting, I think I took a massive risk and made a lot of mistakes, silly mistakes along the way there. But I think this willingness to put yourself out there, to take risks, and just learn from them, and figure out how to grow.
Because the worst thing that can happen probably isn't going to happen, and a risk can be also an opportunity, right? That you can open a door that you hadn't considered. And so therefore, what's your plan for the future?
My experience as a consultant and as a coach has really led me to wanting to help others, Liz. One of the things you and I have talked about, I love the coaching. I love helping other people to achieve what they want to achieve. I love working with leadership teams in terms of how to make them more effective, and how to build a culture that attracts and retains talent to those organizations. So really more of the coaching, and as much as many as people as I can touch, and improve their lives as I possibly can.
Thanks, John. That's been so incredible to hear your journey that got you from being mentored to being a mentor. And if people would like to know more about John's executive leadership coaching, check out his website, or I'll put also his LinkedIn details below. And if you want to know more about my tools and ways of working on mentorship, check out this playlist. And I'll see you next time on ProjectSkillsMentor.com. Bye-bye, everybody.